Hey, you guys. So I kind of wanted to come on here and give you guys my perspective of the way that I am looking at the next few years. And I do want to say some of you guys don't care, and that's okay. Feel free to click off. I'll be doing another YouTube video on tarot and astrology later. But again, I do have a take on the next few years. And I want to say that I'm actually really excited about what can come in the next few years. And here's why. There is something that I have been so extremely passionate about for a very long time, and that is herbalism, and that is taking back your medical sovereignty and our food and water. That is a big topic for me. And the reason being is because I have been a victim of our medical system. I've had 6 surgeries that could have very well been avoided had our medical team actually been educated in taking care of the actual root of an issue instead of putting a band-aid over the top of it, or what they know best is cutting out inflammation instead of finding out what is causing it and getting to the root of the issue. And I've had to take back my own medical for many years now because I was basically left to be disabled. And so now, knowing all of that, and anybody who knows me knows that I had epidurals in my neck. And if you go back in my YouTube channel back in 2020, you'll see videos where I had just gotten epidurals, and I'm like literally locked up and just feeling like shit, but still coming on here every single day, like doing this. And if you can imagine how much I did back then, the fact that I am where I am today because I took back control of my own life. It has changed in ways because I have educated myself in what's been going on and the foods that we've been eating. And so back to my neck and shoulder, by the way, I was getting epidurals for a liver issue. It was never a neck and shoulder issue. Your liver is connected to the right neck part of your neck and your shoulder and can lock it up. And it's because of the toxic poisons, because I don't have a gallbladder, because I don't have a spleen and I can't make the red blood cells, and I don't have my appendix, and I don't have, and I don't have, and I don't have. And so, because of this, and because I have been a victim of all of the medical industry and been so sick off of processed foods, and it's screwed up my hormones and my thyroid and everything else, I am happy about the fact that RFK is finally bringing up topics that I think that we can all agree on. I don't give a shit about the whole Trump aspect. But when it comes right down to it, anybody who is talking about our food and how the medical industry, the pharmaceutical industry has basically weaponized our food against us. And now we can't get unpasteurized, unhomogenized milk. We're not allowed to drink. I was raised on raw milk. I was raised on a farm. I'm not sick from that. I wasn't sick until we moved off our farm. We used to have our own cattle. We had our own chickens. We didn't pasteurize anything. We had raw butter, we had raw milk, and I'm still here to talk about it. It wasn't until we moved into town when we finally were going into the grocery store where I was sleeping in a bathtub, vomiting all night with diarrhea. Little girl, sick to her stomach, but she knew that if she ate that dinner, that's where she was going to be. And every night I remember laying in the bathtub just crying because I was in excruciating pain. And nobody was able to put two and two together. Wow, she was fine while she was on a farm eating farm raised, cattle and chickens. And by the way, I'm Gen X, so this is at a point in time where we didn't have, I mean, we had spray and stuff, but not to the max that we have it now. They've got our air, they've got our soil, they've got our food, they've got like dropping cattle, dropping chickens. What's happening here? And then pushing everything that is poison for our body. But they're capitalizing. And now you look at the people, or all of the kids. When I was a little girl, 45 years on this earth, I like to see somebody who maybe had Down syndrome was very few and far between. Now it's every other person I know has a child who's autistic, adult children who are autistic. RFK is the one who's talking about our vaccinations. RFK is the one who's talking about the fluoride in our water. RFK is the one who is talking about them poisoning our foods and the amount of children who now have autism. That's what I'm excited about. All of this anger and the hatred. I don't give a shit if RFK was backing the other side and he was still talking about this point. I would have voted for him, period. But the fact that he dropped out of the race, and it doesn't matter which way he goes, because whatever is being talked about by him is something that has been needed to be talked about, because this is weapons of it's assassinating, it's genocide to our children, to our families, our loved ones, our friends. And we're all victims of it in one way, shape, or form. How many times have you gone into the grocery store and watched people stand there reading ingredients now? I made it a point one day to look around, and I was just mind-boggling how many people were standing there putting on their reading glasses and trying to read how many ingredients. You know how many people I talked to about that? And I traveled for the last 7 months, and this was everywhere I went. Everywhere I went, and I was so hyper aware of it. And the reason being is because I've gotten down to a diet of literally just tuna and eggs because I don't really trust anything else. It's so hard to trust the food anymore because I've been sick so many times in my life. I've watched my daughter have stomach issues and is down to basically eating raw vegetables, and even that makes her sick. From the time she was a newborn. You know, we're constantly told that it's Crohn's disease or it's this disease or it's because of gluten, or no, it's not, it's glyphosate. Research glyphosate. You know who's talking about that? RFK. So everybody's in this doom and gloom about all this stuff that's coulda, shoulda, woulda happened. If it happened, it would have happened from 2016 to 2020. Stop it already. I'd be more afraid of continuously feeding your children and grandchildren this poison. And how many vaccinations do babies need nowadays? Why is that? We don't trust the human immune system anymore? Since when? Oh, because they can capitalize off of, and you know, it's the same as the vaccinations for your animals. Let's talk about that for a second. You love your animals and you go in and you get them vaccinated, right? Because you love them so much and you want to protect them from anything that could be. It's like insurance, right? It's just in case. Just in case. If you got an indoor cat and an indoor dog, they don't go anywhere. What the fuck do you need shots for? You know why you need shots? Because you're building up all of these metals in that animal's body, in your baby's body. And then it creates all of these issues. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go to the doctor. What are you going to do? You're going to pay for all the tests. What are you going to do? You're going to give them more medication. Why? Because you love them and they got you off of emotion. Tell me I'm wrong. Now think about that with your own child. When you're putting all of these vaccinations just so blindly because you blindly trust the medical system. Well, let me tell you something. Gone are the days where you could go to the doctor. I remember going to the doctor. Dr. Rosaliat, loved him. He was actually a mortician too. May he rest in peace. And he saved my life. And I remember being able to go into him, and if I was sick he would be able to tap on me, listen to my gut, like, you know, push around, you know, feel. And then he would say, okay, this is what it is. Here's what you need. And boom, it was done. You go to a doctor now, you got to talk to the doctor, you got to tell them your whole story. And then they have to go and tell you, okay, well, I need to send you to a specialist. So they're just the middleman between you and the actual doctor. But then you get to the specialist, and the specialist doesn't know what the hell they're doing. And the only people that do are these physician's assistants. After this, the medical system has been destroyed. Pluto and Capricorn destroyed our faith in government, our faith in the judicial system, our faith in our food systems, our faith in the people who we were supposed to be able to hand over our freedoms to so blindly, right? And these are topics that people don't want to talk about. These are sensitive topics. It's not so sensitive when you are finally sitting at the deathbed of one of your loved ones, where this could have been avoided had you spoke up, had you asked questions, had you done your own research, had you taken a step back and really analyzed the situation before you took your children in so blindly and gave them a vaccine that had only been out for about 24 hours after they fucking microwaved it. This next 4 years is where people are held accountable. They're held accountable for the fear mongering, for taking away medical freedom for $20 an hour, and for some of you for an extra cheeseburger and french fries. Allowing your children to be guinea pigs. So what are you really mad over? Take your eyes off of Trump and put your attention on the things that really truly matter. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about abortions. Oh, we fucking talk about every damn 4 years is abortion, abortion, abortion. That is the only fighting thing. Nobody said you can't have one. And why does everybody want one so bad? If you want something bad enough, you will find a way to make that happen. And I'm sorry, but 4 years ago, or 8 years ago, Roe versus Wade got turned over when Trump was president. Has that really changed anything? No, but it keeps being the topic of discussion. Maybe the topic of discussion that should be talked about is, why aren't we pushing celibacy? Why aren't we pushing, people actually taking care of and treating their body like a temple? You know, like, so what are people really threatening is, oh, I'm now not just going to have frivolous sex because I can't go have an abortion. Tell me I'm wrong. Because nobody has ever told you that. Nobody's ever told you that you couldn't be LGBTQ or any of that. You make yourself a fucking spectacle. You throw yourself in everybody's fucking face, and then you tell everybody that we're supposed to call you something that we can't wrap our minds around. But that makes us racist. These are the topics that are going to be brought up. And I'm excited about that. Mental health issues based off of the food and the red dye 40. Nobody's questioning that. Has anybody noticed the real problems? They're killing your food sources. There's no more minerals in the dirt. So when your cattle are eating that grass and you're eating that steak, you still need to take supplements. This is where people have medical freedom. This is the energy where more Reiki practitioners and chiropractors get paid for by insurance and acupuncturists. They talk about this being the alternative medicine, but this medicine has been around for generation after generation since before the test of time, before pharmaceuticals. That should be the alternative medicine. But nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Your food should be a source of medicine. Look this up. Did you know that out of all of the medical schools, and mind you, they go to medical school for how many freaking years to get to their bachelor's and their master's and everything else, racking up so much fucking debt. Do you know that only 25% of them teach diet? And only out of those 25%, they might be taught about 11 hours, if that. Some of them just 2 or 3 hours of diet and how diet can affect your health. I'm not saying all doctors are bad, because I don't believe that they came in with an attitude that we're coming in to fuck people up. They really genuinely believe in what they're doing. They just don't realize that they've been indoctrinated since Rockefellers took over the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry and wrote the books as to what can be taught in these schools nowadays. Because God forbid we fucking teach people that food matters, not Pop-Tarts at breakfast and a fucking iPhone at lunch. when they're finally out of school, and technology and how that is affecting people's mental health. It is all connected. And that's what I'm excited about. That's what we need to be talking about. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm probably going to be talking a lot more in the next few years with North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo about our health, the importance of our health, and what I've done to take back my own health. And let me tell you, supplements have worked for me, EMDR, massage. I mean, I have done so many different modalities and I use them all in tandem, not just one over the other. Oh, this person, but also mind, body, spirit. It's all connected. And I've overcome a lot. But your health is like an onion. You are constantly peeling back layers that you didn't even know was being affected because this ailment is so blown out of proportion and so inflamed that, okay, I got to work through this first. Oh, okay, I'm good through this. Oh shit, there's this now I got to work through. You're not done. You're not done. There's diet, there's exercise, there's, working through, you know, your mental health issues. Everybody's got them. I don't care who you are. We're all working through something. But RFK is actually talking about these things. So at the end of the day, that's all I care about. I don't care about to each his own on the abortion thing, to each his own on the LGBTQ. Again, nobody told you you can't. Just again, if you have to be inclusive with everybody. Not everybody believes in it. Okay? They just don't. And you can't make us want to, and especially when you're cramming it down somebody's throat. That is also something that's going to be addressed in the next few years. And it's how do we incorporate both sides to work together? How do we incorporate both sides to work together and live in this world together without everybody telling everybody? Like, go back and watch the uglies, because I feel like that's kind of the world that we've been in, is the uglies. And it'll make so much sense. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought of it, and go back and watch the video that I did on it. I did a Holly Weird movie messages, and I did it on the uglies because that one just blew my mind. But the next few years, I am so stoked about what's to come. I can't wait to see processed plants being shut down. Where, I was a kid, you could eat McDonald's, a couple times a week and you didn't have to worry about it. And if you left it out, it rotted. Now McDonald's is like you look at the amount of diabetes, and then they're trying to push Ozempic, right? Oh, Ozempic will help you. No, diet and exercise will help you. Your mental health will help you. Ozempic's just going to give you more side effects to come. And then they're going to say, well, no, that didn't happen. And by the way, you can't get off of it. You want to put your kids on it? That's a lifetime of medication for your child. And it's a death sentence. You're shortening their lifespan, and all you have to do is take away their soda. Where are the mothers against all this, saccharin that is being passed around? Where are the mothers that are outraged? Oh, they're being paid off. You think that it's okay to feed your kids Coca-Cola and Pepsi on a daily basis with Kool-Aid? After they just ate 6 Pop-Tarts for breakfast? I hope that it gets to a point where we don't have to read the ingredients in the grocery stores anymore. When we go to the doctor, they're not trying to push a medication and constantly pushing us to the next person because they really don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they're just a block. I really look forward to what's about to happen. And I really look forward to our farmers and our water and our cattle companies. Yes, no, I am not vegan. I believe in the cycle of life. I was raised on a farm. I was raised in that industry. No matter how spiritual you are, animals understand their sacrifice. And as long as you thank them for their sacrifice, like Indians have done through the test of time, like all other cultures, it is no different. You look at all the vegan shit and look at all the stuff they're spraying to kill all of the things that want to eat your food. The insects, you're killing off the cycle of life as well. So don't say anything about cow farts. Don't say anything about our chickens. The reason why they want to take away cattle and chickens and butter and our milk is because it actually has been a source of healing. When my dad died, he only ate bacon and eggs his whole fucking life. He ate bacon and eggs for breakfast and he ate meat and potatoes for dinner. And my dad at 84 years old when he passed away was so much healthier looking than everybody around here. Why? Because he ate raw butter, he ate raw eggs every single fucking day his whole life. That's what I remember him eating. And he never steered off. My mom, on the other hand, was always on the Weight Watchers diets and always eating radishes and slim fast, eating grapefruit and on these fad diets, peaches and cottage cheese. You remember those days for those of you who have parents that age? Like, she was the one with the heart issues. She was the one with the diabetes. She was the one with all the fucking issues. Look at all the people with the sunscreen. And then they're the ones who have cancer. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't go both ways because it very well can. But you're cooking chemicals into your body and you're not even questioning that. This is where the awareness is, and I'm so excited about it. And honestly, I can't wait to be able to go into, a farmer's market and be able to buy, unpasteurized milk, raw milk, where it doesn't have to say on the label, not for human consumption, so that they can jump through some, loophole. Everybody should be able to make that choice themselves, and they have taken it away. You gave them a little bit of power and they ran with it. And you have Monsanto and you've got Bill Gates and with the soy companies and soy this and soybean that and bean oils, nut oils, and everything else that are just so fucking bad for you. They tell you butter is bad for you, pig fat is bad for you. No, it's not. Okay, depending on the culture, it might be a cultural thing for you, or you just might like it. But it doesn't mean that it's bad for everybody. And how dare anybody tell us what we can and cannot consume when we should understand our own body? This is where we take back our medical freedom and be able to eat foods again that aren't fucking toxic. It's not going to happen overnight, but I do feel it happening. So I'm going to leave that here, you guys. That was my Peace's perspective. I love you guys all so much. Take it or leave it. We can have a difference of opinion. But again, I'm not getting into all that other shit. That other shit means nothing to me. My whole life, I've waited for somebody to talk about this topic. And the fact that he backed Trump, I don't care. I would have voted for RK either way. But the fact that he now has a voice, that's what I want to hear. Love you guys all so much. Take care.